Back in the book segment tonight, Water's World, the city of Detroit in chaos. Some facts. Democrats have controlled Detroit for more than 50 years. State of Michigan has pretty much taken over the city now because it can't pay its bills or control services. Detroit currently owes close to $14 billion. Detroit's former mayor, Democrat Kwame Kilpatrick, was recently convicted of racketeering, fraud, and extortion. Faces up to 20 years in prison when he's sentenced. Waters met up with journalist Charlie Leduff, who chronicles the whole mess in a book called Detroit: An American Autopsy.
Been a violent 2 weeks in Detroit.
32 murders in 15 days.
Detroit is the poorest big city in America. 40% of the people here are on food stamps. The jobless rate is 11.3%.
It's bad.
Yeah?
It's bad. Crime, you can't get EMS. I'll just be real about it.
We can put billions and billions of dollars overseas and rebuild people's economies, but not put 1/4 into our cities.
There's 5 things that people want: a clean city, a safe city, a smart city, education, and also protection, police and fire.
We found out that these have never been inspected. All the ladders are grounded, so if you're in the 3rd floor, good luck getting out. Guys will answer calls, and while they're answering calls, people will grab the hooks, the ladders, the chainsaws, because there's no police unit available to back them up.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a police officer.
Safe out here in the streets?
It could be safer.
Some people are complaining that 911 calls aren't going answered.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case.
My house got shut up 37 times. We didn't report it because they don't do nothing about it.
You call 911, and you're talking 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes they don't come at all. Kid gets shot in the head, and it's left to throw the kid's corpse in the back of a police car with the father crying over it. It's unconscionable.
Are you frightened to be walking around in your own city?
Oh, hell no.
So you take care of yourself?
Damn right.
Corruption in Detroit.
If you're a victim of a crime, you're going to be waiting for the police to show up.
Corrupt politicians destroyed this city. Can't afford to live here, and you can't afford to leave. They can't borrow anymore because the credit rating's junk.
I was laid off in 2011, and I have had a very hard time looking for work. I feel like I went to school almost for nothing.
I wouldn't want to come to Detroit, put stock in a store, and it's stolen in the next 20 minutes.
100 years of dependence on the auto industry. As General Motor goes, so did the Motor City.
We fear for our life every day here. We locked us up and then we go in the basement. I'm just waiting for them to come in here and just kill us.
So there's a lot of arsons in this city. Why is that?
Cash. Can't sell your house, you burn it. Collect your insurance.
A lot of the neighborhoods are being burned up and people are running out, and then, you know, drugs got a big part to play in that.
Anytime you're addicted to drugs or cars or whatever, you know, once it dry up, you go through withdrawal pains. We have failed leadership in this town, and we need some new blood, somebody gonna make some tough decisions. We need to blame ourselves for being dependent on Democratic government.
What about the mayor, Mayor Bing? Do you support him?
Absolutely not. I just think it's being mismanaged.
Nobody's accountable for taking money and mismanaging money, I think.
So Kwame Kilpatrick, what were the charges against him? It was racketeering, corruption?
Giving contracts to his buddies at overinflated value, not doing the work, stealing from the kids, kickbacks, you name it. He was doing it.
There was a lot of things happening with the mayor. He just got caught. He didn't do anything different than not all the rest of them are doing.
But you're not excusing his behavior, right?
No, absolutely. He's wrong as 2 left shoes.
We don't have to live like this. You know what I mean? We can do better. We're Americans. It ends in I can.
Now, Detroit has had an exodus of people leaving, right?
Yeah, half a million people have left Detroit over the last 50 years. It's white flight. 85% of the city's black. There's no jobs anymore. They said the auto industry bailout worked. It didn't. 200,000 jobs have been lost. There's no plants. Half the plants have gone. And there's just crime all over the city, and they're so corrupt they can't run the city effectively. And all the city services, like garbage collection isn't on time. They don't plow when it snows.
Well, they
Things
don't have
like
any money.
basic
I mean,
services
they don't
can't
have
happen.
any money, and there's no organization, and there's nobody in charge. Now, the state of Michigan is taking the city over.
Right.
I mean, is that going to make it better?
Well, I don't know. They brought in a bankruptcy guy, and he's supposed to sell all the assets, basically fire the city council and all their staff, slash salaries. They made a lot of promises for pensions and benefits for all the public sector employees. They're going to tear up those contracts, and that's the only way they're going to get back on their feet.
I got to say, you know, Detroit is an American iconic city, but it's through.
Yeah, well,
you'd have to put it under martial law, and you'd have to, you know, suspend all kinds of these crazy laws they have, and then bring in people just to oversee it, and then try to get it back on its feet.
Right.
Like the military, you'd have to do what the Marshall Plan did in Europe after World War II, because they ain't coming back by civilians. And Democratic rule, 50 years.
50 years. And we talked to a lot of the people on the street. You'd expect them to be hardcore Democrats. They're not.
Well, they
can't
anymore.
stand the Democrats.
They can't anymore.
Because they're so corrupt. They just want to get an honest guy in there.
All right. Desi Waters, everybody. Fact